Mi gente, welcome back to another video. My name is Claudia. For those who are new here, welcome. I am so excited to have you here, and I am so excited that we are starting a new year, 2026. That is so crazy, but it's full of opportunity and excitement, and I cannot wait. So this year, I got myself the cutest little daily planner from Van Dough. I am obsessed. Just look at the cover, it is gorgeous. And I thought it'd be fun to go with a daily planner this year, so I have a little bit less stress and pressure to use a weekly planner. I don't always stick to every single day of the week, so I thought I'd give myself that flexibility. But in turn, I wanted to start designing my own planner pages, and I thought it'd be fun if I recorded it in case you wanted to follow along. So I'm hoping to do one for every single month of 2026, and I'm really looking forward to just creating all the designs and coming up with cute little spreads that we can use and plan our weeks together. I'm going to have it as a downloadable and printable version, so you can have it physically if you like, or you can use it on your iPad or whatever device you use. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to start inside Procreate, tapping the plus icon at the top right and selecting the option for letter. Once the canvas opens up, we're going to tap the wrench icon on the top left and open the canvas menu and switch on the drawing guide. I already have my drawing guide set to the grid size I want, but you can edit it to your preference. We're going to start by sketching out the different blocks we want to include in our weekly planner. At the top, we can add a block about 2 squares long and 1.5 squares in. Next, we'll sketch out the weekly block on the left side. I eyeball the width to be about the size of half the page and a little less than the length of the rest of the page. On the right, we can add in 3 blocks. The first 2 will be roughly the same size and take up half of the page, and the third one will take up the bottom half of the page. We can use these to list out the top 3 tasks for our week, any notes we'd like, and anything else we'd like to use this space for. Next, we're going to go back to the weekly block and start loosely mapping out how much space each day will get. I'm going to make each block about 3 to 4 squares tall, and we can always go back and refine this later if needed. Once we have our weekly block laid out, we can go ahead and start writing out the days of the week. If you're following along on your iPad, you can do this on a new layer. I like to start my week on Monday, but definitely feel free to start on whatever day you'd like. Again, here I'm just laying out the days to get an idea of the spacing for each day's title. Tuesday and Wednesday felt a little too close together, so I nudged them down a tiny bit with the freehand selection tool and the move tool. For the title of the page, I measured 4 squares into our original block. I love adding fun little titles to the top of my spreads, and since we're starting with the first month of the year, Let's Do This felt like the perfect title. For the 3 blocks on the right, I decided to label them with my top tasks, notitas for the week, and this week's wins. Once I wrote out each title, I lowered the opacity of this layer and then pinched the top and bottom layer together to merge them into a new one. This stage is optional, but we are going to refine the blocks out a bit more to have a better idea of the final line work for each space on our weekly planner. This part is fun because you can choose how the lines are going to look and whether they'll interact with your text. You can have them wrapping around your titles, create dotted lines, or anything you like. Next, we can choose our colors. For January, I want to go for an 80s vibe with bright colors. I think the 80s has to be one of my favorite decades because the colors were so expressive and fun. Once we have our color palette, it's time to start finalizing the layout for our weekly planner page. I decided to use a peachy pink as the color for the planning blocks. On Procreate, you can draw out a line, hold it so it straightens out, and then if you want it to be straight to the page, you can hold a finger to the screen and it will automatically straighten out perfectly. For the titles of each section, I decided to go for green since it complements the pink. And just a little ode to Wicked, of course. I honestly love freehanding cursive, it's so much fun. Also, having the title written out underneath gives me an idea for where to put the letters. But you can also totally add in text underneath and copy over it, or use it as a guideline for the font you want to go with. It is so much fun seeing the colors come together during the stage. Honestly, writing for me is so therapeutic, so I really love this part. I also cannot wait to use this week's wins section. I've noticed that writing out what went right or what I accomplished in my week really keeps me motivated to continue working on my goals, as well as more likely to enjoy the present moment and just be more mindful and grateful. Lastly, I added in the days of the week to seal up the spread. From here, we can make the spread even more personalized with some more colors and decorations. We can create a new layer behind the previous layers to highlight the titles. I chose more of a pastel neon pink color to add some extra personality. Then on the bottom right and top left corner, I added some strokes of color in a golden yellow. To really bring it all together, we can add some dotted grids to the inside of the boxes. Obviously, this is completely optional. You can keep it blank or fill it in with lines. I personally prefer the dotted lines because they're more discreet and give me more flexibility when filling out each section, but also serve as a guideline in case I want to write on a straight line. And just like that, we've made our first weekly planner page of the year. Yay! I am so in love with the design and I cannot wait to use it for January. I'll have a link to my Ko-fi page below where you can download this planner page for free and start using it as well. Alright y'all, that's basically it for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you loved the design, please let me know. And if you have ideas for next month's design, you can also drop that in the comments. But I hope that you have an incredible 2026. I just wanted to wish you the best going forward and to believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, know that you got this, that you can do anything you set your mind to. And yeah, just go into the year with love, an open heart, and lots of love. I'll see you guys in my next video. Adios!